Business Communications and Norms in Switzerland, presented by Lu. Overview. We will be going over 8 differences that Switzerland has with the United States. We will be going over contextual differences, legal and ethical differences, social differences, nonverbal differences, age differences, gender differences, religious differences, and ability differences. Contextual differences. Switzerland has a low context culture, meaning that information is exchanged explicitly through the message itself and rarely is anything explicit or hidden. In Switzerland, their culture is monochronic, meaning they value a certain orderliness and sense of there being an appropriate time and place for everything. Switzerland and the United States are good at doing business together because they are both low context and monochronic. The Swiss communication style is direct and to the point, similar to that of the United States. In business practice, the meetings are highly formal and punctual. Their decision-making process is left to senior positions. Their subordinates are provided structure and direction, but are not monitored closely. Most importantly, they value customer relation to a high degree. All of these business practices are similar to the United States. Legal and ethical differences. Switzerland uses a civil law legal system, which means that the written laws are the primary source of law. In Switzerland, the laws are divided into public and private law. Public law is used at the state level and it can govern the relationship between the state and private companies. Public law includes tax law, administrative law, bankruptcy law, and debt enforcement. Area of private law included in the Swiss Code of Obligations are contracts, torts, commercial law, company law, and law of checks and other instruments. Intellectual property laws such as copyright, patents, and trademarks are also private laws. It is also important to know the hierarchical order of Swiss law. Federal law is above cantonal law is above ordinary law, and ordinary law takes precedence over regulations set by the government or administrative authorities. Before engaging in business practices, it is important to study the law and ethics that pertain to doing business in that country. This will eliminate any activities that are illegal or can be viewed negatively, and it will help develop a better understanding of the business environment. Social differences. In Switzerland, the business climate is conservative. Expect meeting to be impersonal, planned, and task-oriented. The Swiss are a modest group of people who are socially reserved in their nature. In their resolved culture, it is important to avoid asking private personal questions. In business, this would mean that breaking down barriers and establishing relationship will take longer. However, the Swiss take friendship quite seriously once they are established. It is important to be aware of what you are communicating, because the Swiss are extremely tentative and will not forget what has been said because of their reservedness. Socially, the Swiss corporate culture is highly professional in nature. You can expect this in a lot of US business as well. Nonverbal differences. In a Swiss business environment, it is important to be moderate in using gestures. Pointing of the index finger, slouching, stretching, or yawning in public is considered rude. Facial expressions are used as a reaction to a conversation. The Swiss will only smile or frown if that was the intention intended specifically by the speaker. In Switzerland, emotions and feelings can often be displayed through body language. Similar to the United States, the handshake is still the standard greeting style in business. The Swiss take good care of their appearance. In business, the Swiss will dress conservative and neat. The Swiss prefer a sober look, so men should choose dark, good quality suits and ties. Women generally wear trousers, suits, or smart knee-length skirts with a shirt or blouse. It is important to know nonverbal differences so that you can make a strong impression. Age difference. Looking at the charts, the majority of the Swiss population is in their 50s, in comparison to the United States where the average age is 37.9 years old. This can be attributed to the Swiss people having some of the longest life expectancy in the world. Swiss men are said to have the longest life expectancy relative to men in the world at an astounding 81.3 years, and women are even higher at 85.3 years. One thing age affects greatly in Swiss business practice is formal greetings. It is already considered polite to address colleagues by last name, but it is even more important you do so when there is a large age gap and one is addressing the older party, even if you have the same job title. Gender differences. With Switzerland having a history of avoiding the world wars, they did not have an urgency to push women into the workforce to fill labor gaps. In 1970, no more than a third of women were in the workforce. That number today have increased to 46%. Compared to the United States, 47.3% of women are in the workforce. The charts below indicate that there is an equal amount of both men and women working in sales, accounting, and banking. This means that business practices is a field that presents itself as the most gender-neutral field to work in. Similar to the United States, Switzerland practices freedom of religion, and it is a mostly Christian-based country. Because the Swiss business culture is impersonal, religion difference does not affect business communication. Ability difference. Switzerland has many abilities that are different from the United States. Switzerland is ranked 7th in the world for gross national income per capita at $65,610, which is higher than the United States. According to the Mercer Quality of Living Survey, cities in Switzerland such as Zurich, Geneva, and Bern are 3 Swiss cities that are ranked top 10 in the world for quality of living. Switzerland is a prosperous country that is often sought out as a great place to live. The work opportunities in Switzerland is so attractive as working in Switzerland may double or triple a salary. Switzerland also provides a great educational system and outstanding healthcare, often voted as one of the safest places to live. Switzerland has very low crime rates and violent crimes become very rare. Switzerland's history of neutrality makes it a stable country. The Swiss environment is clean and provides a lot of outdoor activities. Switzerland is regarded as the 7th best place to live by U.S. News and World Report. Switzerland is a country that is successful and is the front-runner in the world's economy, with the Swiss government being one of the most stable, and its low-context culture doing business is similar to the United States. The Swiss people are a conservative group and they tend to be well-rounded. This allows them to display a high level of professionalism. When doing business in Switzerland, it is important to be punctual. The Swiss are keen about being punctual. If an individual is not on time for a meeting, it is highly disrespectful and it will reflect poorly on the firm being represented. It is important to be aware of your body movements. It is disrespectful to be fidgeting, having moving hands, and do sweeping gesture. Pointing of the index finger is an insult, and poor posture is frowned upon. Stretching and yawning is also considered disrespectful. Do have a good posture and be attentive. Maintaining strong eye contact when communicating. It is important to maintain eye contact to the point where it seems like a stare. This will help build sincerity and trust, which are the tools for establishing strong business relationships. It is important to avoid asking personal questions. The Swiss are socially reserved and do not respond well to a random or new person asking personal questions. It would be ideal to avoid personal matters until you get to be well acquainted with them. Safe topics to discuss includes world politics, economics, travel, Swiss cuisine, sports. Be prepared. The Swiss generally take a long time to establish personal relationships, so when arriving for the first business meeting, you want to be as prepared as you can be. Have all the materials you need. Know the business law and ethics. Understand the Swiss culture. By doing all these, it will give you an advantage before stepping in to conduct business. If you have any questions regarding business communication in Switzerland, please feel free to contact me with my phone number or email me. Thank you for taking the time to learn about Switzerland's business communication.